It may have something to do with the brain.
Do you have a phone holder thing? Just tell me again.
That one's for an iPad. This is for
Okay, good morning, Liz. We can get started.
Thank you. Good morning. My
Good
name
morning.
is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, May 2nd, 2022. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We've also provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak in a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comments on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Go ahead and call the roll, please.
Thank you. Ms. Barnes?
Ms. Barnes here.
Ms. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Faith?
Present.
Ms. Britt?
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
And we have one postponement this morning that is on the screen before you. That's calendar 22-051 regarding 4720 and 4820 Brook Park Road. The appellant has asked for postponement. Just to double back a little bit, this is regarding Brook Park Auto Auction Corp. Proposing to erect approximately 600 linear feet of 10 feet tall battery charged fence on a parcel located in a semi-industry district. The appellant is still working on creating the presentation and preparing themselves for the meeting, and they need some more time.
Okay, and without objection, board?
Without objection.
And so
Without
that-
objection.
Sorry about that.
Objection.
So June 6th would work for us, Madam Chair, if that works for you.
That's fine.
All right, thank you.
Madam Chair, Maurice Rollins, just wanted to point out that we have, first we have Councilman Polensek, and then Councilman Griffin was second for signing on. And I don't see anybody else.
Okay, Ms. Faith, we'll start with Councilman Polensek.
Right, I saw that too. So here we go with, as a courtesy to council members, we take their cases first when they are present. Mr. Polensek was first today, so we are starting with calendar number 22-046. This is at 15638 Holmes Avenue. Richard Coleman, owner, and LaTanya Harris, leasee, proposed to establish use as a carry-out restaurant in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Good morning. I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address. Anyone speaking for this case, please state your name, address, and swear yourself in.
I apologize. I'm trying to raise my hand and speak. LaTanya Harris.
We hear you now.
Okay, 716 East 155 Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44-110. And also present,
Richard Coleman, I'm the owner of the building. My address is 341 East 266th Street, Euclid, Ohio.
Councilman Plancic's office, Mary Louise Daly. I so swear if we send in a support letter as well.
And we got
Madam
that.
Chair,
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There has been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found a permit was issued in 1917 to erect a garage. 1928, there were alterations to a storefront. 1935, there was a one-story addition made to the property. There are no variances on file here in our office. And in the more recent history, I found that in 2001, a permit was issued to install a one non-illuminated wall sign. In 2004, new vinyl siding was placed on the property. And then 2006, we found that there were food licenses issued for the property between 2006 and 2018. In 2015, a permit was issued to establish occupancy for carry-out pizza business. And at that time, the notes were that there would be no eat-in business. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, applicant is requesting a use variance from the regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. I'm assuming Ms. Harris, you will be the spokesperson for this case?
yes.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Oh, I'm actually, my plans are to open up a carry-out restaurant. There's two sides to the building. So I'm actually a notary and t-shirt printing and various other office activities as well in that particular area.
Okay, so there's a list of, Maurice, can you go back to what the zoning is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, carry out. So you're gonna make this a restaurant and you're gonna do other things on different sides of the building?
Yes.
Okay, can you just explain more detail, like what you want to do, what your hours of operation will be, so we'll have an understanding of exactly what you want to put here.
Okay, basically wanted to open a minority-based product and service venue, just to utilize the current demographic. Currently, there was a carry-out restaurant in the area that catered to African foods. They haven't been open for a while, but I wanted to do more of a milkshake, ice cream, smoothie type of menu, as well as utilize my office skills. I have a bachelor's in business administration, so I figured that I could help the community as far as faxing, copying, even at some point implementing shipping, right from that particular spot.
So is that what you're doing right now, or are you starting off with the carry-out restaurant first?
I'm actually going to start off with the carry-out restaurant first and actually get all the equipment that I need to get the rest of the business going.
Okay. And then what will the hours of operation and days?
I was going to do Monday through Saturday, 8 in the morning to 9 o'clock p.m.
So 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Coleman, as the owner, did you want to add anything?
Oh, no, I've been knowing Miss Harris for a while, and I think it'll be a good business there for her, you know. I've known her for a little bit, and she's been in the kind of field before the restaurant business, so I'm real comfortable with her. I'd rather have that. There's nothing on that area right there in that neighborhood. Years ago, I used to have a candy store there, and it went pretty good. But I think I'm all for her with it, and I have no problem with it.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Polensek office, Mary Louise?
Yes. As I said, the councilman had sent in a letter of support. You know, and I think most of what he had asked for has been answered, specifically for the hours of operation. And as long as the business, and we asked this for any of the businesses in that area, don't impede upon the property rights of the residents. And because it's right near St. Mary's Church and the like, you know, he's supportive of it. And our only thing is that there was any trash receptacles on the outside, because it is a carryout, that they should be placed, cannot be placed in the right of way on the sidewalk, and must be, you know, picked up and cleaned up around the property at all times. And if there's any questions, Ms. Harris knows how to get a hold of us in the office.
Great, thank you. Maurice, anyone from city planning, or is that you?
It would be me, Madam Chair, Maurice Rowland, City Planning. We agree with the councilman on all these issues, especially they cannot cook outside in front or on the East 57th side of the property. This is a good reuse, I think, of you know, we have so many of these vacant commercial buildings on street corners in the city that used to be very vibrant and brought a lot to the community. So it's great to see these kinds of things coming back. So we are supportive of it. I guess I'm a little bit confused as to what we're actually approving, because it sounds like the applicant wants to do multiple things. So what are we actually granting a variance for? Is it just the restaurant at this point?
Yeah, that's why I asked, was she going to do the carry out first and then maybe work on that other stuff later? Because I agreed when I first heard that she was talking about multiple businesses. So we needed to be clear that she's working on the carry out restaurant right now. So is that correct, Ms. Harris?
Right.
Yes, that is.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that too. It's not that we don't support the other businesses. It's just for process sake. She may have to come back for variances for other businesses just because it is a two-family district and doesn't really allow any kind of retail at all. But we support this.
And in addition, we encourage you, Ms. Harris, as we have talked with you before, to at least touch base with storefront renovation. You know, because if for nothing else, they can give you some technical assistance so we can, you know, spruce up the front of that building and for the best for you and for the neighborhood.
Thanks for reminding me of that one. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. The storefront renovation program can really be of great assistance.
Okay, well, I will open it up to my board for questions, comments. Hearing none.
Madam Chair, I did have a couple of questions to Ms. Harris.
Okay.
I'm curious to know which side. It looks like there's a central entrance and then two sides to the business space. I'm curious to know which side she intends to use for the carryout business and which side she intends to use for the other business, which isn't before us today, but would just like clarification on that. And Mary Louise from the councilman's office touched on an important point, which are the trash receptacles. So I'm also curious to know how many trash receptacles she plans to place outside and where she intends to locate them.
All right, well, okay, was that question directed toward me? We're trying to
Yes,
hear?
Ms. Harris, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if you look at the building from the picture that was shown, the left would be an open side, and the right side is actually the kitchen. Trash receptacles can be placed. There's actually a waiting area once you go in to the right side where a smaller trash receptacle could be placed. And in the back, there's a gated area where a small, larger receptacle could be placed.
Okay. And will you place one outside as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm guessing you may want to put some cafe tables or something out front, in the warmer weather. So just sort of
Yeah.
thinking ahead of that. Great.
Mhm.
Okay.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair, this is Liz. Regarding that dumpster issue, we are not approving the location of that today. We should note that that would
Right.
be a separate application. There are specific requirements for screening and such for a dumpster. So we would want the appellant to know that when she's ready, she should apply for a permit for her dumpster.
Well, yeah, that's why I didn't bring it up, because I figured we were just talking about the carry out, because that's the only thing that's listed today. So,
Yeah.
but thanks, Liz.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Brown?
I'd like to ask Mr. Coleman, are the apartment units occupied?
Yeah, one is occupied, but her lease is up in June. And I'm not going to be renewing it right now. But
it is your intention to keep both of them occupied when you're able to? Is that correct?
yeah, yes. I got to do a rehauling of the upstairs, update the kitchen and bathroom up there. So yes, I would, re-rent it out, lease it back out.
Okay, thank you.
In the future.
That's it, Madam Chair. Thank you. I think it's great to have the full building occupied, and I support the request for the carry out.
Thank you. Okay,
Second.
with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair. We've, I think, answered questions and had discussions. So with that in mind, we've had testimony from Councilman Polensik's office and a letter of support submitted. We have support from city planning. I think we're all in agreement. This is a great repurposing of an older neighborhood building that has some history of being used for commercial purposes and for carry out. And it sounds like Ms. Harris is well credentialed to handle this business and has a good business plan. And so with all that taken into account, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 22-046.
A second, please.
Member Brown.
Second, Ms. Barnes.
We'll give that to Ms. Barnes, because she was very enthusiastic. Second to Ms. Barnes. Go ahead, call the roll, please, Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Vaith?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 22-046 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
We'll go to Councilman Griffin's case now.
Right. Moving along to calendar number 22-045. This is at 12511 Mayfield Road. Matthew Weimer, owner, proposes to erect a 5-story mixed-use building with a bar tavern space on the first floor and 7 residential units above in a C2 general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. of which there are 7. Of note, number 7, section number 341.02, which states that Cleveland Landmarks Commission approval is required. To Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. Matthew Weimer, 12654 Mayfield Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, 44106.
Robert.
Go ahead.
I do. Robert Maschke, 6421 Detroit Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
I do. Jack Bialowski, 6555 Carnegie Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
I do. Mary Jane Tomaselli. I'm the property owner on 124th, 1975.
I do. Donald Pettit, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
I do. Ray Christosic.
I do.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I do. Griffin, 11810 Larchmere Boulevard.
I do. Ray Christosic, Director of Little Italy Redevelopment, 12010 Mayfield Road.
Okay, if that's it. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There has been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1903, a permit was issued to erect a shop addition. 1929, a permit was issued to erect a fence. 1967, a permit was issued to remodel restaurant and a 3-dwelling unit. There are no variances on file for this address. And in the more recent history in our Acela system, I found that there were yearly food licenses issued between 2005 and 2018. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the maximum gross floor area, setback, rear yard, off-street parking, driveway, and landscape strip regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the applicant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you. Who's going to be the spokesperson for this case?
Madam Chair, just wanted to make a quick note. I know the councilman did put it in the chat that he has to maybe leave early. Did you want to just get his testimony now?
Yeah, Councilman, are you okay with that, or do you have a little more time?
No, actually, thank you so much, Madam Chair. If you'd allow me that opportunity, I do support this. So I just wanted to make sure I registered my support. This has gone through a rigorous community engagement process. It has also been supported by the local design review team. There are a couple of residents that have registered some concerns, but I believe that some of the things and the measures that the residents have asked to for this developer to make, they have made them. So due to the accommodations and due to the support that I believe that I have also gotten from the community, I do support this project. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Okay, who will be the spokesperson for this case?
I will, as well as Robert Maschke and Jack Bialowski.
Who just said I will?
Matthew Weimer.
Okay. All right, Mr. Weimer, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Our intent here with this project is to replace the existing building that for a long time was the home of the Primo Vino restaurant. The restaurant when it was open, existed on the basement level. There has really been no use on the first floor or second floor level for decades prior to the restaurant being open for business. Unfortunately, the building rather, has decayed significantly over time because of its construction. There's serious structural issues. So again, our intent is to replace this building and in a new building, create active retail space on the ground floor and 7 residences above it. We are also proposing subgrade parking that would be accessed off of East 124th Street, as well as guest parking accessed off of East 126th. And this was an intentional design decision that we made in an effort to mitigate traffic issues that exist in the neighborhood. East 126th Street is a 2-way dead-end street. It ends just beyond what's shown here on this site plan and dead ends at Lakeview Cemetery. Because it's a one-way street, residents and their guests, as well as delivery trucks, garbage, etc., have to turn around to come back. So it creates a major traffic congestion issue. And again, that's why we are relegating all resident access to be parking onto 124th Place, which is a one-way street, but a through street that comes around to Alexander, then 123rd and back up to Mayfield Road. That's a general description of the proposed plans.
Okay, thank you. Can you or someone on the project team just quickly go through what variances you need?
Sure. There are a series of multiple variances. First one, 355.04 in C area district, maximum gross floor area cannot exceed 3,664 square foot building is permitted. A 30,079 square foot building is proposed. That is the first variance. The second variance is a specific 10-foot setback established from Mayfield Road, and a 3'1" setback is proposed. The third variance, rear yard equal to 1/2 the height of the building or 30 feet is required. We are at.
This is Robert Maschke. If I can add on the second request, 357.01D, the setback is only at the entry level. The building goes to the property line on floors 2 through 5. We're asking for relief so that a door can swing out for egress and not swing into the right of way of the sidewalk.
Our building height is 60 feet. 30 feet is required. 349.
Oh, that's for the year. We don't have a height issue. That's the
rear yard, excuse me, is equal to 1/2 the height of the building or 30 feet is required, and our setback is 12. 349.04 accessory off-street parking at the rate of 1 space per dwelling unit plus 1 space per 100 square feet plus 1 per employee for a bar or restaurant. 34 parking spaces required, 17 parking spaces are provided. That is to take care of the residential units and their guests, and the retail space will be a participant in the valet service that accommodates all of the other commercial units on Mayfield Road. 343.18C, driveways in retail zoning districts must be 15 feet from property line Our proposed driveway is on the property line. This is on 124th Street. 6th Street. 352.08.12, the 10-foot landscape transition strip providing 75% year-round opacity is required where use abuts residential district and none is proposed.
We're proposing a landscaped wall.
341.02, approval of Cleveland Landmarks Commission is required, and we have received that. In fact, the project has gone through, as Councilman Griffith indicated, a very rigorous community process, including 2 meetings with the Little Italy Development Corporation and a public hearing as well, which was well attended by the neighbors and which resulted in significant support for the project and ultimately in the approval of landmarks. We'd be happy to share more information about the project if you would like. We can quickly go through the design for you.
Do you have a someone for the retail space just yet, or no?
Could you repeat the question, Madam Chair?
Yeah, do you have a tenant ready for the retail space yet, or no?
Not signed to a lease.
Okay.
But
the one thing to keep in mind, the retail space is a condominium. So all the units in the building, 8 total, 7 residential and 1 retail, are all going to be owner occupied.
Okay, I was just wondering if you had someone yet. Okay. I think Ms. Tomaselli, would you like to weigh in now?
Yes, thank you. So my house is on 124th, and it was my dad's house, and he passed away. And it's the 3rd house from the corner of Mayfield and 124th. So I'm just going to give you my concerns. And honestly, I was not aware of a public hearing. I wish I would have known about that because I've been there. But originally, when I heard about the plan, I thought this was going to be 3 stories, and now we have 5 stories. My concern is, you know, it's a beautiful building, don't get me wrong. And I do agree that that corner should be renovated to something much nicer. But the towering of the building, I'm just wondering, my concerns are, you know, privacy for the other houses that are going to be, that are close to this project. The ambient lighting also. I'm also looking at what the value of the homes now. I mean, I know that the value of the homes in the neighborhood have increased, and so have the taxes. But if you look at the homes that are around there now on 124th, except for probably the one at the end, they're still, most of them, the original homes. They're either 1, 2, or 3 stories at most. And so I'm concerned about the privacy for the surrounding houses on that street. I'm concerned about the noise level. You know, are you going to have an outdoor patio? I'm not sure for the bar or the restaurant. Also, you said that, you know, because 126 is a dead end. So does that mean that all of the delivery services and trash pickup, is that going to be on 124th? Because that street is very, very narrow. And most of the time, cars have to park somewhat on the sidewalks because it's so narrow. And that's one of my concerns about the street, and also the amount of traffic now that's going to be going down that street. Let's see, what else? So you're thinking of 17 parking spaces, 7 spaces for the residents, And then you mentioned something about guests and their guests. So are they going to be allotted one parking space per condominium? I'm not sure. And then, so that leaves you with 10 spaces for what, the bar and the restaurant and the employee. I don't see that as being enough. Also, let's see. You know, you're going from 3,664 square feet to 30,000 feet. That's a pretty big increase. And I'm concerned about also, where are these garages? Because I'll be honest, I cannot see this plan very well on my from what I'm looking at. It's very faint. Are the residential garages going to be off of East 124th? But how? I mean, are you taking up the whole? Are you taking up the whole corner of 124th to 126?
So it's a single garage that's underground.
Yeah, please announce who you are when you answer.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, Mr. Weimer, just when you, on these hearings, you just have to say who you are before you start speaking.
My apologies.
The court reporter.
Yes.
Understood. Matthew Weimer.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So the design, as you see here, is one single garage that is underground. It's accessed from East 124th Place. There's no structure that will be up to the street. If you can see on this drawing here on the screen, there appears to be a series of sort of grayed out rectangles going west to east. Thank you. And an arrow pointing, yeah, exactly.
I see that.
So that's the entry drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then where you see sort of a double line representing a wall, there will be a garage door there that residents would pull through. And once on the other side, they will be, it's one floor below this. There we are. Thank you.
So the garage door does not face 124th. The garage door faces the residence home.
The garage door faces East 124th Place.
Matthew, would you like me to just walk us through real quickly? This is Robert Maschke. I'm the architect. So ma'am, when you come off of 124th Street,
right,
there are only 7 residential units that have access to this underground garage.
Okay.
So the parking for them is contained, as is their garbage. So any garbage throughout the week will be contained through inside the garage. It'll be rolled out for pickup, and then the bins will be returned back into the building. So
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just walk you through, and then if you have any questions. The garage is set back. There'll be a heated driveway so that for snow removal purposes, there won't be any. So we won't have to worry about any excess snow removal onto other parts of anybody's property. And then on the north end of that driveway, you could see a green area. That green area is a green buffer from the house just north of us. Unfortunately, the whole front yard of that house is concrete. We're trying to soften up the neighborhood and provide some greenery into the neighborhood. So we're creating some greenery and an entry off of 124th. But there will not be, this is not going to be a heavily trafficked street because there's few people living in the building.
Well, my concern is what,
Can I finish, please?
yeah, go ahead.
Guests will park off of 126th Street. Maurice, are you controlling this?
I am.
Can we go to the next
one.
level up, please? So
Sure.
off of
Right there.
120, thank you. Off of 126th, the rose color area is the entry to the condominiums. Behind that area are 3 guest spots and bicycle racks that are covered but open. So someone drives in through there. Access to pick up refuge from the retail space, which is the peach color in the front, will all be done through there. So deliveries and garbage pickup for retail are off of 126th Street, where a truck can come back in, pick up, drop off, turn around and leave without driving deep into the street because there's nowhere to turn around. What we're also trying to provide around the building is some greenery where we set the walls back so that we can have egress and not imposing onto the right of way, and also add some street trees to warm up the space. There a lot of greenery, as you know, has been taken out of Little Italy over the years, and it's basically a sea of parking on sidewalks. And much like the property we did across the street to the east, which is via 126, we're trying to reclaim a landscaping strip and providing some vegetation and trees to help warm up the neighborhood. And as far as noise, the restaurant is contained inside. It's an Enoteca. It's looking to be an Enoteca, which is a small Italian wine bar with small plates of food. Nothing is outside. So unlike some of the other restaurants in the neighborhood that are outside, this is all contained on the inside.
This is Jack Bialowski. I'm sorry, Ms. Tomaselli, that you were not able to be at any of the previous meetings. There have been 5 public meetings so far, 2 for Little Italy Development, 1 community meeting that was attended by over 30 people, and 2 for Landmarks. All of this information was gone over in great detail, as well as the rest of the design and concerns at those times.
Yeah, I'm sorry too, because I did not know about any of that. But I'm glad that you're for this with me right now, because now I understand it much better. And you believe that the sewer capability, there won't be any problems with sewers, anything like that. I'm worried about, putting in a building and hopefully none of the basements are going to flood because of this. That was another concern of mine with the water pressure.
Yeah. Again, this is Jack Bialowski. We know that the building is well served by existing utilities. There is a basement in this building already. So we're not excavating any deeper than what is there at present. Those conditions, and in point of fact, the removal of the existing building and the placement of new foundations and foundation drainage, if anything, should be helpful to any circumstances regarding drainage in this area.
Okay.
And
the
Ms.
other,
Tomaselli,
Yes.
Tomaselli, I'm sure you have a lot of concerns. It was unfortunate that you weren't able to make any of the meetings, but we can't rehash the whole community meeting here at BZA today. So a few of those have gone through the parking issues, and I think that's definitely a zoning issue that they have presented here today. So we have some other people that need to talk right now, so I'm gonna go to them. The next one will be Ray Christosic. So if you do have any further questions about what happened at the meetings, I'm pretty sure he'll be more than welcome to talk to you about it. So Ray.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Ray Christosic, Little Italy Redevelopment Corporation. As was said already, our design review committee reviewed the project on several occasions over the past 6 to 8 months. We had a community meeting in late January, well attended, and the comments were overwhelmingly favorable to the project. Our design review committee approved the project in early February and landmarks in late February. We like the project for a couple of reasons. One, it increases home ownership in the area because all the units being for sale. It's bringing back a business to the street level, which we've always said street level in Lillette's is important and needs to be activated. And this, I think, will activate it in that location. We will work with whoever's the tenant in the restaurant to get them in the valet program that works on Mayfield Road. But we won't know that answer until there's an actual tenant, but we will work with that tenant. So the design review committee did approve the design. I just want to, Madam Chairwoman, I did forward a few emails to Liz. I hope she got them from yesterday, from residents on 126. So just wanted to make sure that we did get those in there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, so Liz, we got a couple of letters from Mr. Christosic.
Yes, actually, there's one on the screen right now.
Okay.
And that's okay. And then I have another one from Nicholas. I'm not sure if I see his last name. It's a pretty long email. Sounds like he has similar objections as Ms. Tomaselli. I mean, so Madam Chair, it's up to you if you'd like me to read it.
Yeah, not the whole thing. Can you just pull out what, which I'm sure is probably, parking and a lot of things that Ms. Tomaselli is probably concerned about with parking and deliveries and where trash is going to go and that kind of stuff. So,
well, this is Mary Jane Tomaselli. I'm also concerned about the height of the building. That's one of my main concerns.
The height. Okay, thank you. So yeah, go ahead, Liz.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. So the appellant writes that his concern is that the project or the building is overwhelmingly large for the lot size and the massing is out of place with the surrounding residential properties. The developer is requesting a variance that entirely removes the entire setback and eliminates all landscape buffering along East 126th Street. The developer has opted instead for entire East 126th Street exposure to consist of concrete sidewalk met with stone facade. He mentions parking being an issue for the 15 existing houses, of which a significant number of them are multi-unit on East 126th Street. Only 3 of them have garages. It goes on to say that adding yet another underparked building will only serve to exacerbate the problem. Currently, residents of East 126th Street often find cars parked or blocking their driveways, as well as parked in the designated fire lanes. Multiple drivers have damaged a wall of one of the neighbors' home. Then he goes on to reference Code Section 329.03A, in which the code provides the Board Zoning Appeals with the power to vary or modify the application of any such provision in harmony with general purpose and intent of the zoning code, so that the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare may be safeguarded and substantial justice to be done. He mentions practical difficulty, refusal of the variance being applied for depriving the owner of substantially property rights. So he's quoting the legal standards. And it says further, yeah, he's reading a lot of these Duncan factors into. Now, you know these. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you want me to read those.
No, we are very familiar with Duncan factors as the Board of Zoning Appeals, so we do not need those read.
Well, not necessarily all 7 of the Duncan factors weigh against the granting of the variances. First, the developer's property can absolutely be developed in a manner that complies with the current zoning code and would have beneficial use without granting of the variances. Current parking conditions and narrow street make it difficult for snow plows and emergency vehicles to access the residential properties on East 126th Street. Mentioning the fire lanes again, additional demand for parking. Lastly, the spirit and the intent of the zoning requirements would not be observed. If granted, the variance would permit a massive development that is out of character with surrounding neighborhood properties.
Madam Chairman, may
That's
I
it that I have the
respond?
summary.
This is Jack Bialowski, Madam Chairman. May I respond to a couple of those items?
Yes, very quickly.
In regard to the issue of height and out of character, this was one of the main discussions in the community meetings. There is not only precedent for much larger interventions on Mayfield Road than this building, but in point of fact, it was deemed to be appropriate. That is the purview of the Landmarks Commission, and they reviewed this extensively. Relative to the issue of landscaping, up until now, there has been zero landscaping at 126th. And that's why we've pulled the building back so that we are able to provide some.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Madam
Pettit.
Chair, sorry, Madam Chair, there was one other one from
Oh, okay.
Debbie Chesney, daughter of Brenda Gattarello, who is a resident owner on the street. Mentions that the building will block most of the southern views from the home, including the views from her kitchen window. The kitchen window was changed some time ago to a bay window with the sole purpose of providing a better view. Families lived there for over 50 years. They are totally against the variance. They've been, there are 3 generations of residents living in this house. And of course, they are stating that they would urge the board to keep a piece of the historical neighborhood, which is now turning into a neighborhood of high-priced condos. And Madam Chair, just going back to Nicholas, he did submit some photos that I sent over to Maurice. If you would like to see those, I think he has them in his email that he could pop open, but just for the record, he did submit some photos. And those are the 2 that I have, Madam Chair. And I believe Maurice had one.
Yeah, Maurice put those up earlier while you were talking. So we do have those, and we have all those for the record. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Pettit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Don Pettit, Secretary of the Cleveland Landmarks Commission. We saw this project conceptually on January 13th of this year. On February 24th, the commission reviewed it for final approval. The commission approved a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of the existing building with the condition that the owner reclaim the existing stone for future use. The commission also approved a certificate of appropriateness for the new construction. It was not unanimous. The vote was 5-3 in favor. And the condition was that final materials would be submitted to staff with consideration for cleft travertine as the main facade material. This was not adjudicated for zoning until after the commission took final action, so we were not aware of all the required variances in this case, with a couple of exceptions, those being the lot area size and the parking, and we were informed that the parking for the Enoteca would be addressed through the Little Italy Valet program. So the commission approved the project, and although there was some disagreement on the commission, we do support the project, but we will have to defer to the board regarding the variances. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pettit. Okay, Maurice, anyone from city planning, or is it just you?
No, it would be Don Pettit, who is representing the City Planning Commission today with his opinion. And the Landmarks Commission supported this project, right?
Okay. All right.
I do have
everyone on my.
Madam
Madam
Chair.
Chair, Madam Chair, let me make one comment. With
Okay.
respect to the front yard setback variance, as you know, the board is very limited in its powers to grant those.
Yes.
However, reading the exceptions that are allowed from the board, there are only 2 parcels on this very short, kind of unique block. And basically it says that as long as the encroachment does not extend beyond the average encroachment of adjoining buildings on the block, which it doesn't. So we believe that the board does have the authority to grant that variance. Thank you.
Thank
Madam
you for addressing that, my favorite front yard setbacks.
I know it is.
Yes. So I'm going to open it up now to my board for any questions or comments.
Actually, on that very topic about the front setback, you know, that block along Mayfield is set back as well. And so to the architects, I'm interested in at 126th Street, what is the depth of the right-of-way? I want to just understand how close this all is to the actual curb. You see what I mean? It's a little offset there.
So this is Robert Maschke. 126 is a two-way street. I'm not quite sure of the exact dimension of the sidewalk on the west side of 126, but it's somewhere between 6 and 8 feet wide. And that's where we get to the property line. We then only set back the retail level of 126 and Mayfield Road just over 3 feet in. And the rationale, Maurice, if you can go to the first floor plan, please. One more. There you go. Where you see on the corner of Mayfield Road and 126, which
Can you
is
enlarge that, Maurice?
yes. So we've only set back the building at that part so that the doors swinging out, one from the stairwell and the door from the retail on Mayfield, do not swing into the right of way. And then it also allows us an opportunity to put in low plantings at the sidewalk, but on the property of Casa de Angelo, not in the right of way, to warm the street up with some plantings. Right now, everything is concrete. Also, we're adding 3 street trees into the right of way that aren't there on the Mayfield Road side. As we go to the northern end of the building off of 126th, we have 2 small setbacks. One is just to pull the vestibule back into the condominiums again, so we don't swing a door into the right of way. And then also the north stair swings out to the side of the building and steps up and out. Again, not to get into the right of way. And we've added green space on that part of the building as well. And then we've created a green wall at the back that'll be like a hedgerow of the property to shield the parking and, again, to bring some greenery into, as you saw in the previous photos, a pretty harsh, sterile space.
Thank you. Madam
Board
Chair,
members,
that's it
any
for
other
me.
questions? Thank you, Ms. Brown. Other board members, any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain.
Well, I would just say it's a beautiful building.
Oh, yes, I agree. I agree. Okay, with that, no other questions or comments.
Could I make
I will
a
entertain-
comment? Am I part of the meeting?
Who is this?
Hello, my name is Eddie Oceanero.
He's not sworn in for this, Madam Chair.
You were not sworn in, Mr. Oceanero.
Okay.
So,
That's okay.
are you a neighbor?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead, swear me in, Ms. Brown.
I currently live on Fairview Avenue, and I will be living on East 126th Street.
Sir,
And
Okay,
I
we have
need
to
to
swear,
swear
we
you
have to
in.
swear you in before you talk, sir. We have to swear you in.
sure,
So
absolutely.
do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state your name, say I do, and provide your address.
My name is Edward Oceanero. I do. My current address is 2044 Fairview Avenue. And I will, okay, thank you. My girlfriend lives on 126th Street. I frequent that street often. Currently, there is nothing existing on the corner, obviously, of 126. It's a vacant building. On a Friday and Saturday night, getting to her house is an act of God because of parking. I cannot overemphasize the parking issue and the challenges that this project currently is going to hold for the residents of that street. She is the last street on the block, that last house on the block, correct, I'm sorry. And there is a constant turnaround in her driveway currently from people going to restaurants and venues in Little Italy. I don't see how the scope of this can improve on that. I think it's just going to get worse. 7 people living there, they'll have visitors, they'll take those parking spaces. There's no way on earth you could tell me that the little wine bar, whatever, is going to have enough parking. There will be enough parking to support this. It is a disaster. 126th Street is a disaster right now. I just can't see how something of this size could improve what is going on currently on 126th Street. Those residents have their back up against the wall right now, as it is, with nothing occupying that space. If they could convince me otherwise, I would approve. I just cannot see it happen. Basically,
Okay,
that's
thank
all
you,
that's all I
Mr.
have to say. The scope and the parking issue right now is a huge issue. I just do not see it improving.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oceanero.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, this is Matthew Weimer. May I respond to just a few of the points Mr. Oceanero just
Very
made?
quickly, we have a full agenda, so very quickly.
Thank you, I understand. Thanks, Eddie. I understand the concern 100%. I know what you're referencing with respect to the cars that are parking on the sidewalks and in front or damaged a resident's wall. That's the result of the current valet company parking cars there. And I've allowed them to park behind Primo Vino, the existing parking lot to the rear, for some time since there's been no activity there. And as you know, it's been vacant. And I think that's kind of just blown out of proportion with the number of people coming down after, the shutdown with COVID. So it's really a problem on Friday and Saturday night. But again, I want to point out that it's a result of the valets parking cars there, as opposed to parking them in the designated parking lots like the valets do on all of the rest of Mayfield Road. It's not from patrons of like Dolce Vita or somewhere further west. The company, the valet company that is down there, either parks at the church or the Singer Steel building where there's plenty of room. But they've just been jam packing cars in on 126th. Again, I know what you're talking about. They're on the sidewalk, the street, all over the place.
And there are patrons that do park on that street though, Matt. And that's, I think, something currently that's going to have to be addressed.
I understand, and I can assure you that there won't be the possibility for valet parking cars on the street as they are now. If the project were to begin, it would be fenced off. I can't speak to, though, obviously, patrons of restaurants coming down with their cars and parking on East 126. This is an issue that's pervasive throughout the neighborhood. And we talk about it at design review all the time. It's been a main feature of, the master planning work that's being done. It's a broader issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the time.
All right. I will turn it over to my board for a motion, please.
Madam Chair, extensive testimony on this case. So let's take a look at the variances in front of us. The height of the building is not a variance, and that has been addressed by the Landmarks Commission and City Planning. And it is unfortunate that the residents that weren't able to attend community meetings were not able to get advance information. But I think we did a pretty good, the architects did a pretty good recap, and the property owner did a pretty good recap of going over concerns. I'm sure that they will make themselves available to the residents that have any further concerns going forward. With all that said, we have resounding support from City Council. We have support of City Planning on these variances. I think we're all in agreement that it is a very aesthetically pleasing building. There has been some landscaping added. We understand the setback issues that have been made to address egress and the door swings to gain access to the building. Parking, as Mr. Weimer stated, is an ongoing problem in the Little Italy area. And I think Mr. Ray, the director of the CDC, is working with stakeholders to work on a master plan for that situation. And we understand that the tenant that will be taking the retail space will be involved in the valet service that is available. So with all that taken into account, I move that we go ahead and approve the variances for calendar number 22-045.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Second, Ms. Barnes.
Barnes with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and this is with the understanding that number 7 is not being granted today regarding Cleveland Landmarks Commission.
That is correct.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Vaith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 22-045 is granted. It'll be ratified on next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right,
Good
thank
luck to
you.
you. We look
Thank you.
forward to seeing this coming to fruition.
Likewise, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Madam Chair, looping back to our agenda. Going back to calendar number 22-041. Thank you, Mr. Rulins. This is at 1453 West 116th Street. Christian Ryman Schneider, owner, proposes to convert a 4-suite apartment building to a 2 fee simple dwellings and a split use of a 2-car garage in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, and to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address, please. Anyone here for this case?
I believe I see the architect Doug Wall. Mr. Wall?
Can you
Mr.
tell
Wall,
him
you're
how
muted.
to unmute?
I don't even see any movement. I see the corner of his head. Sir, just hit the unmute button at the bottom of your screen. I don't know, maybe we've lost him? I'm not sure.
You said I see him unless that's a frozen screen.
That's what I'm wondering, if the screen froze. Because there's no movement, so it might be that he's frozen.
All right, well, we'll go on to the next one. We'll give him time to
Okay.
write that.
Moving along, calendar number 22-044. This is at 1435 East 108th Street. Circle North project owner proposes to erect a one-story detached gable garage in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. To Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply I do, state your name and your address.
I do. Anthony Burton, 1142 Winston Road, representing Orlean Company.
Anyone else?
I don't believe so.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, it does look like we have Mr. Wall back again, but we can come back to him next.
We'll come back to him. Okay, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. I'm going to summarize the most important information on this property. There's a permit issued in 1906 to erect the dwelling. And then in 2011, a permit was issued to demolish a 2.5-story frame, 2-dwelling unit and garage. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
1906 was pertinent to the case today.
I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the garage location regulation of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Liz, do we have a letter from the owner about Mr. Burton representing them?
No, I don't see it in here.
No, I've been a consultant for Orleans on this particular project. This is part of
Okay, hold on.
Okay,
Mr. Burton, hold on. So what happens is if you're representing an owner, you need to have send us a letter to letting us know that, so we can still hear your case, but we just won't be able to ratify any decisions until we get that letter. So go ahead and present the case.
So this particular project is a single-family scatter site project where Orlean Company was awarded from the RFP from ex-mayor Frank Jackson's initiative over in the Glenville neighborhood, and we were awarded 26 lots. This particular unit we've been actually trying to build for around a year, but we got caught up in the COVID restrictions and material costs and things of that nature. So we're now at the point where we can construct this particular property, and our variance is just for the garage. I think the street setback was originally, I think your code calls for 18 feet off the curb, and we're at 16.22.
I even hate that you have to be here for that.
I'm sorry, I didn't, we've been in front of zoning before and I never had a letter before, so I didn't get a letter to
Yeah,
represent.
it sounds like, Liz, is this a city-owned land now, and they're just, because it doesn't seem like this is like an individual owner.
No, this is all city-owned land.
Okay, so this is a city project. Well, if that's the case, you won't need that, but,
What
Right there,
street
Madam
is
Chair,
it?
you can see right there on the plan, it says sublot 34 Cleveland Reutilization Program, which is
Okay,
City of
good.
Cleveland Land Bank.
Okay, yeah, we don't need that then.
You don't need my letter?
Nope, it's not a private owner, so we don't need that now.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, this case is, I hate we even have to take time for these kind of cases, but I'm just gonna get on the record, city planning, what's your thoughts?
Of course, yes, City Planning, Maurice Rowlands, the City Planning Commission has worked extensively with this project, and this is a very small variance. As you can see, they have pushed the garage to the side of the property as much as they possibly can, and so we support this variance.
All right, great.
What
I'm gonna
street
assume,
does sorry, Madam Chair, what street does the garage front on? I can't see from the
It's
angle.
Lee Avenue, I believe.
Correct.
Thank you.
It'll front on Lee Avenue.
I thank you.
There it is. Sorry, pulled it down for you.
okay, if there are no other questions, I don't think we need to belabor this one at all, so I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, I move that the board approve calendar number 22 -044 to build a garage for a single-family detached home in keeping with the need to be able to sell this home. How about that?
All right.
Well done, Ms. Brown.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else I was supposed to add. I'm giving it a good try, though.
You don't need to add anything. This is so simple. You don't need to add anything to it. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Ms. Faith. Go ahead, call the roll, Ms. Kuzma.
Ms. Barnes,
Ms. Barnes, yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Ms. Brown, yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 22-044 is granted. It'll be ratified next week and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna circle back to 22-041.
Okay. Circling back. Again, calendar number 22-041. This is 1453 West 116th Street. I read this into the record already, so we should be good to go.
Okay,
We just need the
swearing in whomever is present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I do. My name is Douglas Wall, Visio Architects. My address is 5216 Herman Avenue, Cleveland 44102.
Anyone else? Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned apartment house in 1929. 1969, it was changed to two-family residential. In our records room, we found that in 1907, a permit was issued to erect a two-story tenement. And then, Madam Chair, in our office here, we found that there was a calendar granted in BZA 19244 in which the appellant asked to erect a 35 by 20-foot concrete garage pad only for the future 4-car reverse gable garage, conditioned upon access agreement being created between the two parcels in his ownership. And then in the more recent history on our Acela system, I only found that there were interior alterations to repair smoke damage in 2005. That's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum lot area, minimum lot width, yard and driveway regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Mr. Wall, present your project.
All right. So this is, has been a 4-suite, 2-story building. And my client wants to convert it to a 2-family fee simple duplex. And as you can see from the photograph, this 4-car garage has already been constructed. And so the driveway access, as described on here, is my client, the owner of the building. His personal residence is next door and will share that driveway. So he created the easement to access the rear yard of the property and that 4-car garage. So an easement will be created to allow the cars from these 2 garages to maneuver across the property line. So they have rights for that. And so there is plenty of room back there to maneuver around, although it doesn't strictly meet the ordinance requirements for car maneuverability on your own property. As you can see, there's at least 26 feet, I believe it is, between the garage and the rear porches. So that should be more than adequate to back a car out, turn it, and maneuver it to and from the driveway. And so the other issues regarding lot size and setback, the building is there, so we can't really do anything about the lot size, but we're going to reduce the number of units from 4 to 2. My client bought this building because it was poorly managed, and I think he said it had some drug activity and so forth. So he bought this a few years ago to protect his own property and the value of the neighborhood, and so he would like to reduce it to 2 units. Again, fee simple ownership, so we'll have to split the property, but the building is not located exactly on the center of the property because some of the driveway is on the one side. So parcel B, with the side of the driveway, has more land associated with it than parcel A. But we're essentially proposing to split it equally down the center line of the building till we get to the backyard and the garage is offset. So we'll have about a 2-foot offset in the property line in that back driveway area to go back and split the garage into halves that will be owned each by 2 units.
Thank you. And the easement is already in place, or he's working on it?
No, the easement, when he planned the garage, he got the easement approved, so that's in place.
Okay. Okay, good.
No question.
All right. No one else signed up. City planning.
Yes, Madam Chair, Maurice Rowland, City Planning. Yeah, most of these variances here are from existing conditions, so and they are minor. The only one is, I think, the one that you have pretty much been talking about was number 4 with access to the garages. So just to be clear, I'm going to zoom in on this. This area here that I have the mouse going over is where there needs to be an easement. So so that garage A can be accessed from the property owner of garage B. Because as you can see, this is the property line. So is that the easement we're talking about?
Yes, correct. there'll be a cross easement, across that property line so that, people from the owners and occupants of, garage A can cross over B to get to the driveway.
Right. Because in case garage B person decided they didn't like garage A person, without the
Right.
easement, they could prevent them from accessing their garage. So, we have to think about all those little details. So, that was the only issue that I wanted to confirm. And I think that,
Maurice, there's also the easement for the shared driveway, right?
yes,
And
it's,
Madam Chair,
existing concrete. I believe that was already put in place previously. But we would like to see both easements,
But A needs to be
proof of both.
connected to that, right? Because A wasn't subdivided previously.
That's
Right.
correct. The
Right,
easement
these all
was
have to be
between the two
connected.
parcels as they exist now.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think we would just like to see those easements in place, or at least the documentation for them if they are already in place, before ratification. And that's it. Otherwise, we support this project.
Agreed, Maurice. It's a fairly simple case here. I think the easements are the biggest thing. Outside of Ms. Brown, does anyone else from the board have any other questions?
No questions, Madam Chair.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. Given the comments by Mr. Brulins, we'll make the ratification, should we approve this, conditional on receiving documentation of the two easements, both for the driveway and for owner A and owner B to be able to access their both garages. And so with that condition, I would motion that we go ahead and approve variances for calendar 22-041.
Second.
All right, I have a second from Ms. Barnes. Go ahead, call the roll, please.
thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 22-041 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive those easements, and afterwards we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next case.
All right. Let's see. Moving along.
I went too far. There you go.
Correct. Yes. Thank you very much, Maurice. We are synced up. Next, we have calendar number 22-047. This is at 12809 Corlett Avenue. Patricia Johnson, owner, proposes to establish a daycare in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. To Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I do. Patricia Johnson, 12809 Corlett Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1923, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling in a garage. 1960, a permit was issued to install a new porch to a two-family dwelling. There are no variances on file, and in the more recent history in our Acela system, found that in 2010, a violation notice was issued for condemnation of the garage. 2013, a permit was issued to correct condemnation of the garage. And that's all that I have. That's relevant, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the daycare location regulation of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
You. Okay, Ms. Johnson, tell us what you like to do here.
Right now, I'm a type B daycare when I only can watch 6 kids, and I want to convert it over to a type A where I can watch 12 kids at a time. I do have someone working with me because the county only allows us to work with 6 kids per person. And I have someone working with me already.
Okay, so do you plan on going up to a full 12?
Sorry, say it again.
Do you plan on going up to a full 12 kids?
Yeah, I want to have more kids. That's the whole thing. For I can watch more kids at one time. For like, I'm gonna work. Right now I'm 24 hours, but if I'm allowed to watch 12 kids at a time, I would like to be from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And that's on what days?
Monday through Friday.
Okay, and the neighbors, have you talked to your neighbors right next on either side of you about this?
My driveway side, there's no one there. The house is empty. And then the other side is the older gentleman there, which is fine with the kids. He allows the kids to come over in his yard. He never had a problem about any kid, but when daycare time, the kids in the backyard, but I also have grandkids. So when grandkids is over, they do, play in the, go, play ball or whatever in the front yard, football or whatever in the front yard.
Okay, can you describe the capacity? Do we have a layout, Maurice?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Talk about the capacity of this house to then add up to 6 more children, and that you would have enough room for that.
Yes, I do. I have my home. It used to be well, it's a 2-family home, considered as a 2-family home, but I own the whole thing, so I use my whole home for my daycare. They have certain rooms that, like, if I said I don't want to use my living room and dining room, I don't have to use the living room and dining room. But it's 4 bedrooms. I have a sitting room. I have a back part. I have a full kitchen, but I have a back part to my kitchen. So I do have enough room for 12 kids at a time.
And what would the ages be of these kids?
Ages will be from 3 months to 13 years of age.
Okay, and so normally we're always a little hesitant about allowing a type A in a residential area because that actually, you're essentially turning your home into a business, and that increases, traffic and, interactions with your neighbors in the neighborhood. Now, I know Corlett is not, a very small residential street. It's a large street, but those are the concerns that normally we have about switching type Bs to type A in the middle of a neighborhood. So can you just talk about how you want to, or how do you deal with, pick up and drop off for the kids that you have now, and then what would your plan be to then have that to increase it to 12?
So pick up and drop off. Right now, the parents are picking up and they are dropping off their kids. It's enough room because I have a large driveway. If that's the problem, they're telling me because for the parents to come in and out. So the driveway, and then it's a main street, so it's okay for them to park on the street. It's no one really parks on the street, only on Sundays because it's a church at the corner. But other than that, there's no problem with parking on the street. And then second house from the corner of 129th, it's a school right across the street. So that whole lot is open right there. And I spoke with the principal. She have no problem with me actually bringing the kids over there to play, or if I would to need, the parents to come just to drop the kids off and walk 2 houses down.
Okay, Maurice, do we have an aerial of
Yes.
where this house is in comparison?
Right there.
Okay, great. All right.
Does that help?
Yeah, I was just trying to see in context of where everything else was.
Right there off 129.
Do we have more of a neighborhood plan view, Maurice?
I don't. I can bring one up here, and if you just give me a second, if you like.
Is that what you wanted, Chairwoman?
Yeah, I just need to see, I can see the school now, and I just can't see the church, but she described where it was, so I can kind of figure out where that is.
Right, well, and you could see it in the bottom right picture, you could see how close the church is, yeah.
So yes, it's some other busy commercial uses that are kind of already intertwined in this area already. So that's just kind of what I wanted to see. Okay. Maurice, did city planning want to chime in here?
Yes. Just 1 second. I was trying to bring up that other aerial.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as you know, city planning has, and as you so eloquently stated all of the issues, you really touched on everything that we always have concerns with, in that you're really creating a business in a residential district. However, I mean, Corlett is I don't really consider it a quiet residential street. It's really more like a major commercial thoroughfare. And so, normally we ask that the applicant, talk to the council person to see if the council person is on board with this. But I really don't have any objections, and I want to be very clear about that. The reason we don't is because this is not, a small residential street where we still, we are very concerned about, basically throwing a business in the middle of a small residential district. I went out and took the pictures, and you definitely get the sense that, and I've been down Corlett before, it is a pretty major street. And will you, just to Ms. Johnson, will you be watching some of the children from the school up the street?
Yes.
That's really convenient too. So, yeah, we have no objections.
All right, thank you. Open up to the board. Any questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I did have a question, as Maurice just mentioned. Ms. Johnson, did you reach out and contact your council person at all?
When I first decided that I wanted to be a type A, I did. I called. I spoke with the councilman, but then COVID came. So then this was a 2-year delay. And now when I try to reach out and call, I'm not getting an answer. I don't know why. I don't know if they're still in the office. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't get an answer in. But then at first I did speak with someone, and he said he was okay with it, but I needed to write a letter to him, but we never got no further than that.
Well,
I believe the council person changed, right?
Changed.
Yeah.
That's probably
It did.
why.
Yeah, at that time
Ms.
it was
Gray.
Mr. Johnson. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it, Madam
Any
Chair.
other questions?
Okay. Ms. Brown has
All right.
completed her questions, so I will proceed with the motion, Madam Chair. I think, given the testimony from the city planning and their approval of this, and looking at the contextual nature of the neighborhood with the school and the church and the 4-lane street, it appears to be, this differs a little bit than our typical residential quiet neighborhoods. And so with all that taken into account, Ms. Johnson's experience in running a daycare for some period of time previous to deciding to change her status, she seems responsible and has been successful in this business. And so we're relying on her testimony in terms of how she's going to run the business going forward. And I think there's probably adequate square footage in this building. It looks very similar to my own home, and they're deceptively large from the outside. So with all that being said, Madam Chair, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 22-047.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second, Ms. Barnes.
Ms. Barnes with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, please.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 22-047 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, good luck, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on. Calendar number 22-050. This is at 1770 West 57th Street. James Atkins, owner, proposes to erect a 2-story frame, second floor master bedroom above new front-loaded garage attached to existing single-family residence in a 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. And to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Okay, I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply I do, state your name and your address.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can.
Okay, James Adkins, I do. James Adkins, 15618 Eleanor Drive, Cleveland.
Adam Davenport, City Planning, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Kyle Kacharik, I do 1777 West 57th Street.
Okay, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1933, a permit was issued to convert the house to a 2-family dwelling. 1955, a permit was issued to convert 2-family dwelling to a 4-family house, 15 veterans. There was 1 variance on file in calendar 84-197. A request to maintain 8 rooming occupancies in the property was denied. And then in the more recent history, we found that there were exterior alterations to replace the front porch, to place wood siding on the building, exterior alterations to repair wood. And I believe that is all that I have. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the attached garage, interior side yard, and maximum gross floor area regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Mr. Atkins, go ahead, present your case.
I believe, do you all have my comments I sent with the pictures and all? There you go. So we're proposing to add a 2-story garage on the side of the house, set back to where you see the side door. Our variance, well, we have the 3 issues there. One is the side yard variance, which, as you can see right next to us, is basically a driveway to what it belongs to the second house on the street on the corner street there. I'm not sure what he used it for. We never see anything parked there. And then our back lot, if you look at our plot plan there, you'll see that it's angled off in the back, which makes it difficult to put a garage in the very back. Also, we'd like to have it an attached for security reasons. The last thing was the square footage, which we're kind of limited on because Our lot is so small, basically. We're asking for an additional 100 and some odd square foot on our living space.
So you want to have the bedroom seated on top of the
Right,
garage,
we're gonna put a
correct?
master suite above the garage.
Okay.
And by the way, it'll be a single family home. It's not gonna be a duplex anymore. I don't think it has been for years, but we're doing a 100% renovation on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I guess it should be noted, although I'm not registered in Cleveland this year, I am a contractor who has been registered in Cleveland several different years, but most of our work these days is in Bay Village and Westlake, so I'm registered out there. But this is my own home that I plan to renovate for myself.
All right. Thank you. Adam Davenport.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did speak to Mr. Atkins on Friday, and we talked about meeting the front loaded garage ordinance, or the parking ordinance, a little bit more in spirit by pushing that garage a little bit back. He's aligning the structure with a side door and staircase on the house, which makes sense. And the parcel is a pretty odd shape where diagonally, like, you would be able to only push back the garage so far anyways. So as long as the garage is pushed back a little bit to more meet the essence of the rule, I think we're okay with this. The garage itself is at the minimum area for what we see for our garages being built in the city. So, you know, that garage physically itself can't get any smaller. So understanding that, as well as trying to align that structure, the new structure, with the existing structure and layout of the house itself and the staircase, I think it makes sense to push it back a little bit. But
I believe it would go back probably another 6 feet. If we put the front of the garage to the front of the door on the side.
So that
and that really doesn't affect my floor plan at all. So that would be fine.
Right. Yeah, and I think that meets the essence of the garage code a little bit more, as well as takes out the equation of a car parking across the sidewalk as well, which we always try and prevent.
Sure.
So there'll be space for a full vehicle in the kind of concrete in front of the garage as well. So we're in support of the.
All right, good. So, Mr. Atkins, you're in agreement to move the garage back another 6 feet?
Yes.
And yeah, we'll also say that this is abutting a driveway, so it won't really be affecting someone's house immediately on the other side there.
Correct.
All right. So anything else, Mr. Davenport?
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, great. Kyle, I'm sorry I didn't make out your last name when you said it. Would you like to speak?
Sure. No, this is Kyle Kaczmarek. I live across the street. I'm fine with this. I'm anxious for some work to be done on the house, so it'll be great.
Oh, wonderful. Someone that came on to support a project. We don't get that often. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, just Mr. Atkins, in the event that this is approved, just know you'll have to submit new drawings to show where you're gonna, move the garage. So that's it.
Right.
Okay, board.
Madam Chair, you just hit my point that I was going to include in the motion, so thanks for helping out on that. With the pending changes to the plan, moving the garage back approximately 6 feet, Mr. Atkins will submit new drawings to show us exactly what he's done. And the support of your neighbor, which is really wonderful. It certainly seems to be that you're going to be improving the structure in both appearance and layout and have a positive impact on the neighborhood. It is an unusual shaped lot, as Mr. Davenport stated, and it is, the garage itself is at the minimum size for a 2-car. So all that being said, the project looks like it's going to end up looking really great. We just want to see those amended plans for the garage replacement. And so with that, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 22-050.
Member Brown, I second.
Okay, Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, please.
Thank you. Ms. Barnes?
Ms. Barnes, yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 22-050 is granted. It'll be ratified once we receive those updated drawings, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. I think this is our last case.
We're going to calendar number 22-022, which will be our last case since we postponed 22051.
And for some reason, I don't have the first slide. I don't know what happened to it. So do you have them that you can read, or do you need me to bring it up?
No, I've got it printed out, Maurice, so thanks.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
Technical difficulties.
That is okay. I got you covered. So we're moving on to, this case was postponed from March 14th of 2022. This is calendar number 22-022 at 1010 East 146th Street. Zarel Patton proposes to establish use as a residential facility for a maximum of 5 residents in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Of note, the first postponement was made to allow time for the appellant to meet with Councilman Hairston. With that, to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
Can you guys see me pretty good or hear me?
Hear you.
Loud and see you and hear you.
You can see me and hear me? Okay, good. Zarel Patton, I do, 1010 East 146th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44110.
Anyone else for this case?
No, I'm the only one.
Oh, we have Dora Bolden with her hand raised.
Laura Bolden, 1005 East 146th Street.
Thank you.
I do.
All right, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change to the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1913, a permit was issued to erect a foundation and dwelling additions to a 2-story 1-family dwelling. Calendar number 68-564, an application was made to maintain 5 suites and 1 rooming occupancy. At that time, the board granted 3 suites, and that's it. They changed from a duplex to a triplex. And then, Madam Chair, we just see that there were exterior alterations to existing single-family dwelling and garage to correct violations. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the spacing distance regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, is this your project?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what you want to do.
Okay, good morning, everyone, Madam Chair and the board. I just want to give a brief explanation. It won't be long. I know we've kind of had some extended sessions or meetings so far, so I'll just make it quick and brief. Just introducing my program.
Thank you.
Pardon me?
I said, no, we appreciate that. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So Freedom Youth Program is a group home I established in 2020. We first received our first gentleman. He was from Coshocton County, but before that, I just wanted to kind of give back to the community, to a marginalized group of young men between the ages of 12 and 17 who are in the county, who are in the custody of different counties, right? So we all know about foster care, we know about different things, but it's these group of young men who really don't have anybody to really lean on or guide them and show them the way of how to, be a leader and be a young man. So I took on that responsibility, and the first home is over on 174th and St. Clair. It's been doing well, and actually this is what you see right here in front of you. You see 174th and St. Clair, dilapidated home. Once, just sitting there, we decided to purchase it, and then you see what we turned it into, which is a home for these young men who now feel like they belong somewhere, who they feel comfortable. They don't want to. It's not a facility. Every time somebody comes by the home, they're like, "Oh, this is a group home." Well, that's the whole point, for somebody to feel comfortable, for somebody to feel like they can grow somewhere, and it's not like an institution. Because a lot of the guys that I deal with are in an institution most of their life. So if we can go back to the other slide with the wording, the first, yeah, there we go. So I'm licensed by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. So we are, we did all our everything. We did everything we had to do, had all our ducks in a row. This is the most recent one. So everything we do is not just to do it. We have a responsibility. We have accountability. We have to make sure we abide by. So we can go to the next one. We are quality certified by the Joint Commission, which is the same company that goes to the Cleveland Clinic to make sure everything is done the right way. Meds are passed the right way. Make sure that all of basically all the details to make sure the quality is on point. They come by the home periodically to make sure everything is solid and we're not misusing anything, abusing the kids, and so on. You can go to the next slide. And our mission is to provide a nurturing environment for at-risk young men. So like I said previously, these young men are between the age of 12 and 17 with pretty much nowhere to go. There's thousands of kids in the county, and each county with pretty much nowhere to really feel comfortable at and feel safe, like they can grow. I have a goal for each young man to make sure they give back in the community. So we're not just having these kids sit in the house, but we're going out and volunteering. We volunteered at the Cleveland Book Bank. We volunteered around the city. And so these kids who have a responsibility when they come into the home, they understand that, okay, I have to volunteer once a month to make sure that I give back. Because, sometimes you can kind of feel like you're owed a lot, since you've been through so much, but we have to keep them growing. So we can go to the next slide. And this was a video. I'm not sure if it can play or not, but if it can, it's like a 10-second video, 8 second. If it can't, it's okay. We can go to the next slide and kind of explain what the video.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a video. So yeah, there's I don't know if this will. I don't know if I'll try.
If not, no, don't even worry about it.
No, it won't play. Sorry about that.
Okay, you're good. Basically, so in 2020 there was a big news article, and it was on the news how the county, they had kids sleeping inside of the county building, young men and women. That's how bad it was, and it still is to this day. And you can kind of read right there. These young men and women are marginalized. They have nowhere to really reside, no foster parent, no group homes in that area. So I took it on my responsibility. I took it upon myself to go to the county building and tell them, hey, I have a home for these young men to go to. I literally took this young man who was sleeping for months, weeks and months into the county building. I took him and placed him in my home, and he resided there for a year. Longest placement they've had with him since he's been in the county custody since he was 11. And so he was 17 at the time. So they appreciate the program, and I've been doing contracts with them ever since. And we go to the next slide. So, and our programs that we provide are important for any individual's life. Some of these programs I wish that I received when I was growing up. So we help them academically with tutoring. We help them post-secondary support. So whether it's going to a college or anything like that. I'm sorry for the squeaking. Go, stop, go, bye. I'm sorry about that. Career preparation. So right now we're working with Dave's. They're providing our young men with jobs and employment opportunities. We're helping them learn how to do interviews and things like that. So, and then also, I'm sorry, we are helping them understand credit and understand budgeting. So all of these things are important for any individual's life. But to be honest, people who have parents and people who have mentors don't really even get the chance to understand these things. So it's a accountability and support that we provide these young men when they come to our program. All right, you can go to the next slide. Just a picture of us teaching them how to cook, a part of independent living. All right, go to the next slide.
That looks good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And this is a key component right here, the intimate environment, the intimate experience. A lot of group homes, they're known for having 12 kids, 14 kids, running around. You can't sit down and actually provide good resources to these young men, right? So we have our small intimate environments where I won't take no more than 5 kids, because to be honest, I want to make sure they feel like they're welcome, and it's a team effort. So we can sit down and talk with them and teach them certain things. All right, we can go to the next slide. These are our current contracts, and they send me emails daily on do you have more room, because our program has been proven to be so effective for these young men. So some counties like Franklin County, Summit County, the bigger counties need our assistance, and specifically Cuyahoga County. They need us to continue to grow our program so we can help out these young men. All right. Next slide. And these are just a few letters of support from a few individuals. And we can skip past them. I just wanted to make sure I included that in the PowerPoint. And then we can go to the next slide. Yeah. And so in conclusion, our program is important because it helps out a group of young men who don't get the attention, right? We all understand when we face problems, it helps us come up with solutions in the future, right? Well, these young men are having the ultimate problem, not having anywhere to go, not having parents, not having a family. So they're already dealing with a lot mentally. But my program is here to help them and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to become a law-abiding citizen and to become a leader for my community and for my age group. So, and also revitalization is taking these dilapidated homes and then recreating or remodeling them so they can become a house or a home for a young man to feel like he can grow in. All right, and we are also partner with the Cleveland Land Bank. They have a program where they purchase the homes and then they allow us to come in and remodel them and then have our program in there, and also creating meaningful jobs for the community. Since we are contracted with the government and providing these tools and everything for these kids, you have a purpose whenever you come to work. You're not just doing your thing, but you are actually being impactful. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for, I think you covered every area of what you'll be doing, in this house. So I will ask Ms. Bolden to speak since she signed up.
Ms. Bolden?
Yes. My question is, what about staffing? Are you gonna have adequate staffing?
Yes. Yes, I'll have adequate staff and 24/7 staff has to be there. There has to be there at all, somewhere there at all times. As long as the kids are in there in the house, staff have to be there. So it has to be 1 to 10 for staffing, 1 staff per 10 kids. But like I said, I won't have more than 5 kids in the home. So it'll be like any regular home that has, you know, brothers and sisters in the home, but a lot more security involved.
So you are mandated by the state to have staff, is what you're saying?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Ms. Bolden, does that complete your questions?
Yeah, I think he's answered everything else. I was also maybe concerned about traffic because I live right across the street from the house.
No, there won't be any traffic. So it's like the whole concept is really just like a regular home. So the zoning is a single family residence and but also a residential facility, right? So there's regular traffic that's going through the street. I mean, my staff may come in, maybe 1 car, you know, coming into the home, or 2 cars if I do decide to come, but that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Liz, I saw we had a letter from someone. Was in the presentation. Did you get something?
Oh, Madam Chair, we did get a letter from the councilman the last time it was on the agenda that he did not support this until he had a chance to talk to Mr. Patton. And I guess that was, first of all, I have to say that might be one of the most thorough presentations we've ever had for a residential facility. Very good presentation. One point you made that really I really liked was that you're only having 5 gentlemen in the house at a time, because I really liked your point about, you know, having too many and then you really can't deal with their needs the way they need to be dealt with. So that was a really good point. And it also speaks to the zoning issue of 5. I have no objections. I can't recommend approval until I find out if the councilman, because I don't want to go against the councilman on this.
This is
just make sure.
We did end up having to sit down last week. So he was supposed to send in something to you guys. So I'm not sure where he's at with things on his end, but we do have an agreement. But I know he has to get it into writing. So that was taken care of.
Okay, so but your testimony is he's in approval of your project. You just have to get a letter from him.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, like I said, I don't have any questions. I mean, I think that was a very robust presentation, and he covered all aspects of what's going to happen in this home. So I'll open it up to the board if they have any remaining questions, or if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I don't have a question, but would ask, will our approval limit the use to 5 individuals, as Mr. Patton mentioned in his presentation?
We can make that a condition.
That's it, Madam Chair.
Okay.
All right, Madam Chair, I'd like to ask Mr. Patton if he'd like to train other appellants on how to do an excellent presentation. I think it's a testament to the quality of your presentation and your professionalism that you took care of Ms. Bolden's question, your neighbor, and that you left us with very few questions. So we are going to ask for, should we approve this, we're going to ask for a couple of conditions from you. Okay. And since you've met with Councilman Hairston, we'd want just a letter in writing from him of his support. And also to Ms. Brown's question, we're going to stipulate that you limit this to 5. When we change zoning, it follows the property. And so should for any reason you move on from this situation, we'd want to make sure that the property is secure for going forward. So, and so I think this is an excellent use, repurposing of a structure of this size. It seems that you have a success story. I personally have a friend who was on the Joint Commission. So if you have been approved and have been reviewed by the Joint Commission, that is a statement of your level of care, since they also reviewed the Cleveland Clinic and other hospitals and care providers. So, so with all that being said, I think you did a fine job today, and you, as I said, you've answered most of our questions, and we're just going to make those 2 stipulations. And with that, I motion that we approve calendar number 22-022.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
This is Member Brown. I second.
Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, Ms. Cooper.
Ms. Barnes? I don't hear her, and is she still on? I don't know.
I see
Yeah,
her.
she's still on.
She is muted.
Okay, I'll go on. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 22-22 is.
Ms. Barnes, yes.
There we go.
Thank you. 22-22 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive that letter from the councilman. Once we receive that, we will ratify it the following Monday and send the appellant a letter.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr.
Yeah, good luck,
Patton,
Mr.
well
Patton.
done. Much success to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Madam Chair, that concludes
old
our
business.
cases for today.
Yep, old business 1 through 6 without objection, board.
Without objection.
Objection.
Without objection.
All right, that's it. We're concluded.
All right.
All right. That's the longest one we've had in a while.
It is.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
I
Everyone
know.
have a safe week.
Bye,
Everyone
Everybody
have a safe
week.
week.
All right, have a good
too.
one.